Hello and thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Undead Nighthair, or, well, my real name is Brian, but most people call me Bry, and I'm happy that you decided to join me on this little commentary. So, if you've been to my channel, or if you've just even taken a small look, you'll notice that most of the gameplay that I do play, or most of the games I do play, tend to be games like Call of Duty, and that my channel is mainly centered around uploading clips or uploading tutorials on that kind of game, or if you go way back, you can see some Fortnite gameplay as well. But I decided to do something new today. I decided to play a game that I quite frankly love in the franchise that I've been following since I was 13 years old. I'm currently now 20 years old, and this game is FNAF, man. The series itself, um, it's always been it's always been nice to me. Like I've always played the games, I always had a good time. And the reason why I'm playing Security Breach out of all these games in the gameplay that you're seeing right now is mainly because it's a brand new game. It's the newest game in the series. Um, it definitely is one of the highlights in the series in certain ways, and a very dank, dark corner of it in some other aspects. Um, the reason why I want to make this video is because, like I said, I've been in the community for a while, and this is going to be my first ever commentary video. I have the gameplay playing in the background, and I am talking because I did try to do this twice while trying to play and talk at the same time, but I can't focus and play at the same time, unfortunately, if I want to make a video like this. So I have Audacity open, and I'm rolling with the punches. So here we go. Five Nights at Freddy's, man. Where to even begin? Where to begin? I don't have a script ready for this. I'm kind of just speaking with the heart. I guess I'll start from the beginning, man. So back in 2014, Scott released this indie horror game, man, and I remember watching Yami Mash play it, and then he gave the video to Markiplier, and then Markiplier's video exploded, man. I remember all the critics being like, this game is very unique for its style, and it's very apparent too if you play the old games. They age very well, at least to me. FNAF 1 has aged very well. It really puts into perspective how much we take open world games and like games where we just walk around for granted. At least some of us do. I know I do for sure. I do. I I play a lot of Call of Duty, a lot of Grand Theft Auto. And with some horror games like Amnesia: The Dark Descent or something like that, you're used to moving around, doing quests and all that crap to get to the point A to point B. But in this point-and-click horror game that was developed by one dude that just came out of a Dollar Tree because he's trying to support his family, um, you play this game and it's like, whoa, why the hell am I bolted down in this chair? You know what I mean? And that's really unique. In most games, in most scenarios, you are moving around, you're trying to get away from the fear. But in this game, you are letting the fear come to you. Now, of course, they have diverged course a little bit with the fifth game in the series being sister location, and they have diverged course a little bit with the game you're watching right now, and even FNAF World. Obviously, that was a complete 180 to like what we're mostly used to seeing. Um, so for me, uh, I really don't have many thoughts on the gameplay. And the reason why I say that is because, yeah, I watched Markiplier play his games. I watched Dawko play his live streams. I watched Razbowski and Fusion Gamer and all them guys. Massive respect to those guys for what they do. And the whole reason why I'm doing this video is because, they inspired me to do something like this. I have always wanted to do a commentary video, just letting out my thoughts, just saying what I wanted to say, and hopefully have some people listen in, and maybe they even they have a little bit of a nostalgia trip with me. But as I was saying, going back to what I was saying, uh, yeah, these games are like, I don't know, man. It's really hard to talk about them because they've been around for a while for me. Um, I will always say that the second game is always my favorite, and the gameplay has always just been there. It's good. I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm just saying that what really got me going in this game, man, was the story, man. This game really inspired me to become a writer in early stages of my life when I was like 15, 16 years old. Um, I always wanted to I've always wanted to write, because I feel like I've always had a creative idea of things that I've always wanted to do, and this game really brought that out. Um, I was one of those kids that really liked to who thought they could write a better story than Gotham himself, but at the end of the day, we all give ourselves a little more credit than we deserve. Um, I think that the story, you know, it is what it is. You know, if you like, either like it, you hate the fact that you have to do a little bit of research in it, and honestly, I don't mind it. I don't mind the idea where you have to really dig into it and just try to enjoy it for what it is. Also, you're noticing in the background the gameplay where you're not really hearing anything. I really wanted to focus more about me talking rather than the gameplay itself. We've all seen this game. We've all done, you know, I just need something in the background playing so you're just not going crazy, you know. Um, Maybe you're just listening to me rant or talk while you're doing homework or something, man. Trying to revisit the good old days. Um, but yeah, man, like I was saying, I love the story of these games. I do. I remember Game Theory making his first video about connecting the real life murder mystery of the Chuck E. Cheese with this game that just came out. And you know that video was fine for the channel. That it, you know, of course, it is Game Theory. You know, it is that's kind of their thing where they do math and crap and all that stuff. But it wasn't until their second video where they made a video about the actual lore that really took off with this game. A lot of people back then, unlike now, where they rip on the dude for making a lot of theories. I'll say this, man, he does make a lot of theories on this game, but honestly, I think I honestly, I always enjoy watching them. I don't think there's been one game theory where it's been like, why are you even talking? You know, like you know, Matt Pat, you know, he's a cool guy. You know, I've always liked his style of talking. You know, he's always been a big inspiration for me when it comes to thinking outside the box. So I have nothing but respect for that guy. And you're probably watching me and hearing me. You're probably thinking, man, this guy loves to suck all these other content creators. But honestly, you know, we watch these people because we enjoy watching them. You know, yeah, everybody's got their faults and everybody's got their problems. But honestly, I'd rather just focus on the positives on a human being rather than the negatives. At least when it comes to content creation and such. Um, but yeah, just to go through with it, man, these games have good stories. Whether you want to agree with me or not, I mean that's up to you, man. I've always enjoyed these stories. I've always enjoyed the atmospheres that they've put in. Even FNAF 3, man, even with all that green crap all over the place and dialing up the phone number on the wall, man. I mean, I never had a problem with that. I do have a problem with the fact that a man thought that casual players could do that just to get the good ending. But hey, you know, who cares about casual players? Am I right? No, I'm just kidding. But another point I wanted to get to was the community, man. Man, this community is something else. I'm telling you. Back in the day, I remember some of the first earliest pictures drawn in DeviantArt were some of the most interesting pictures I've ever seen. Interesting in good and bad. I mean, we've all been to that dark part of the internet. Let's just not talk about it, dwell about it too long. You know what I mean? But there are a lot of creative cats in this space that have done a lot of cool things. You know, T-Jock, the joy of creation. You know, you've got Pop Goes, you've got Candies, you got fan games that were made because of this game. You know, people's careers putting on the line because they played a game where you're literally sitting in an office doing nothing but clicking away until you don't die. You know, I think that's commendable. Um, it's crazy to think that it's been 8 years, really, and I've always wanted to do a video like this. I've just never had the opportunity to. Um, I just it's incredible to think about it, man. Because back then I used to watch these guys to make these kind of videos, and now I'm here to try and do it my first time. Hopefully, I'm not doing too crazy or too eccentric, man. I'm just trying to talk from the heart, you know. That's all it is about, you know. That's my kind of style, you know. I don't make scripts or nothing. I just talk in the heart. Hopefully people want to listen, you know. Uh Sometimes I get a lot of thoughts in my head and I can't really speak what I want to say, but that's besides the point. Let's get back to the game. So security breach, man. And I know I jumped over like 6 different entries. We all know the other games. Actually, you know what? No, let's not jump over all of them, man, because I got the stuff to say. I want to say about them. This is coming from a perspective of a guy who's been playing from all these years. Shout out to FNAF, man. He made the video of the history, and that kind of inspired me to make this video. You know, he talked about how he was 14 years old when he first discovered the game, and I was 13, man. I was literally in sixth grade. I met some of the best people in my life playing some of these games, man. And I mean, dude, some of these guys that I've met are some cool cats. Unfortunately, we don't talk no more. And I can only hope that if they do watch this video, man, I hope y'all are doing good, you know. God, God, God has plans, and I hope that His plans have made your lives easier. Um, anyways, going back to the main topic. Um, so the third game, right? A lot of people were like, "Man, this game's ass." The color palette is butt cheeks. It's not as scary as the other ones, but the story was like, I'm in. I'm all in. Let's get it. And if I sound sick, excuse me. I'm recovering from COVID, so I'm still kind of in that little in the little files, but I'm all good. I'll be fine. Anyways, so third game not perceived as well. I personally thought it was a cool game. I thought the story was really nice. Thought wrapping everything together was nice, but of course, Cawthon said that it wasn't as scariest, and the games were inspired to be scary. So that's kind of why he wanted to make the fourth game, because he wanted the game to end on a good, scary note. And there were still technically things that weren't answered. What was the bite of 87? Who did it? That was the whole premise of FNAF 4, and the crying child as well, and all that crap. Um, who was William Afton? All that unanswered questions that were to be technically, I do believe that they were supposed to be answered in the books, but as the games went on, I think Cawthon realized that he can make money both on the books and the games if he made them separate timelines. At least that's what I think. In a business perspective, that makes a lot of sense. Um, so yeah, when I played the third game, I thought it was alright. I played it on my phone when I was in seventh, eighth grade. Um, it was great, man. I love these games, brother. I do, man. These games are incredible. Um, I think my favorite definitely has to be the second game, though, hands down. And that you'll hear everybody say the same thing, man. The second game is their favorite, and really, I mean, you hear it for a reason, man. These games are lit, especially that second game, man. It literally does everything a sequel should do and improves on it. Adds more characters, adds more rooms, adds more to do. Now, the only fault that game had was the fact that even with all these rooms, you really only had one room to focus on. That was the puppets room. You literally had to focus on that room. That's it. You beat the knights every night. Um, you put on as soon as as soon as your camera got pulled down, you put on the mask instantly. Boom, game over. You win. Um, I am underlying it just a little bit. The actual 20 mode was actually really difficult, but that's besides the point. And let's talk about that fourth game. I did talk about that fourth game a little bit, but not too much. Honestly, not my favorite, but it did its job. It really did its job at the time. I remember everybody in the community was hyped. I mean, they weren't as hyped as they were during the third game. The third game definitely was the most hyped in history, hands down. Like, I don't think there was ever as much hype for the third game. Like, if you were there, you were there. You know what I mean? But the fourth game, man, I'm telling you, that game was something else, brother. Uh, the fourth game was definitely my favorite. In terms of being scary. Like, holy crap, I'll play that game again on my phone and on my computer, and I will shit myself. I kid you not. Like, it is downright scary. Plus, it gave us that iconic Markiplier clip, where he's like, "Oh, the first night in the game is usually ain't that bad." That clip? It's real good, real funny clip. Um, yeah. So the fourth game also had a really good story going for it. You had 5 days until the party. You were playing as the crying child. I think his name's Evan. I think the community found that out. I don't know if that's true, but again, I haven't really been keeping up with them after the sixth, seventh game, bro. I don't even know. I think it was Pizzeria Simulator. I kind of fell off after that, but um, yeah. I mean, I really don't have that much thoughts about the fourth game, man. It's definitely not as cool as the second game, but it definitely did a lot better than the third when it came to being scary, which is I think what a lot of people wanted. And I think that's what so many people don't even like Security Breach that much, because they definitely lean towards the family friendly. Hell, they even say in their Steam like description, it's a family friendly horror game, when it really shouldn't be. But I'll talk about that later. Um, and you got the fifth game in the series. I'm gonna jump over FNAF World just a little bit because I want to talk about that just a little bit more. But then you got the fifth game in the series, Sister Location, man. I tell you something, man. When Sister Location first came out, I was a hater. I did not like Sister Location one bit. I hated the sci-fi aesthetic. I hated how you were able to move around. It didn't feel like the game to me. But as I've grown up, as I've looked back on it, as I've thought about it, it's kind of dawned on me just a little bit where none of these games ever played the same. Yes, they had the same idea, right, where you sit still or relatively sit still in a location where you can't really escape and you're trying to fend them off instead of run away. That was their main premise. and it works. Like that's why it was so good because Scott really didn't have to change the formula. He only had to change the gameplay, and the formula worked every time. Every time, it didn't matter what. Even in the third game, when people didn't like the jump scares, they didn't never said that they didn't like the gameplay. The gameplay was serviceable. You know, you kept Springtrap away by playing a couple audio clips. Hey, screw it. You know, it works. It works. You know what I mean? Um, but yeah, man, like I remember playing Sister Location. I was just not a fan because it's like, man, you know, you're moving around, you know, you're doing all these tasks, and then you have days, and you even have checkpoints in those days. I don't know, bro. But then it hit me. I was like, wait a minute, the story's actually lit. Like it's actually a comprehensive story. Isn't that crazy to think about? In a FNAF game, you get a comprehensive story. So you get a story about apparently it's Michael Afton going down the shaft, and baby is like trying to get you to like do a bunch of tasks for her so she can invade your body and go to the surface and escape because they're all haunted apparently. I don't know if I really don't even think not Glamrock, Molten Freddy's haunted. I genuinely think he was built to be a psychopath essentially, like William Afton. Like if there was a character in that series that I would like, if there was ever a character that would like represent William Afton, it would be not Glamrock God, it'd be Funtime Freddy. That guy would literally be the animatronic version of William Afton, but that's besides the point. No, so you're going around doing the tasks. You even get spring locked at one point. I think that was really cool. It was really difficult. I never got past that point. I stopped playing after that because it was really hard. Scott really released a patch for it. I never went back to play it. I probably should. I ended up watching Markiplier play the rest of the game, like most of us did, to be fair. And I mean, I had a like when yeah, I hated the game, but I respected the fact that Scott did something new. Um, and now when I'm older, I'm like even more respecting him because it's like, wow, he made it work, you know. So that's Sister Location, man. And then you got FNAF World. Now FNAF World came out before Sister Location. If you remember, FNAF World had its update, and then it had the baby going. The show will begin momentarily. You know that teaser was really lit. But I want to talk about just a little bit about the beginning of it. Man, I'm telling you, when that game first came out, it was bad news, man. I'm telling you, like everybody did not like it. There were some people that did like it, like Dawko. He was in the hospital. I remember him playing it in the hospital. Um, and speaking of which, just to diverge a little bit, man, Dawko has to have like the worst history of luck when it comes to playing these games, man. Because like at one point he was literally dead in the middle of the ocean, and dude was like, "Oh yeah, we're releasing the fourth game, or I think it was the fifth game," and that was really funny. Like he's literally dead in the like dead center middle of the ocean, and dude's just like, yeah, I'm gonna release the game. Hope you enjoy. Um, but yeah, so that's funny to me that Dawko is just the most unfortunate guy when it comes to releases in these games. Um, I think it's worked out for him though. He's doing pretty good. He's got a community that likes him. You know, he's the face of FNAF. Um, and moving back to what I was saying, so FNAF World, you know, it was whatever. You know, people were like, yeah, this game kind of ass, but I mean, I didn't have any problems with it, believe it or not. I actually liked it more than Sister Location. I like the fact that it was an RPG, which is kind of cool for me. I like RPGs. Um, it Unfortunately, I'm not gonna sit here and kiss his ass. I know it was a bad game. It underdelivered on everything it promised. In fact, it kind of reminds me of Security Breach in some points, where the game delivered was not what we were expecting. And unfortunately, that kind of was the trend for a lot of games after FNAF World. Like Scott did learn his lesson, you know, and I respect that for him. You know, he learned his lesson. He's like, I'm not rushing games anymore. I'm gonna release them when I say I'm gonna release them, and that's final. And I respect that of the guy. However, his if for some reason I guess after that, like he got haunted by something, bro, because every single time he kept releasing something, it would always not be what we were expecting it to be, you know, and it really sucks, man, because like you compare Security Breach and then you compare FNAF World and then you think of the content in these games, and it's wild, man. Like I'm willing to say that Security Breach probably has more content than FNAF World. And I mean FNAF World has a lot of content too, and that's crazy. But I'll talk about that later. Just know that I mean, like I kind of wanted to make this a tier list video, but honestly, I'd rather just talk with you guys. Again, I'm not the most advanced when it comes to editing. This is my first time making a video like this. I just want to sit down, have fun with you guys, talk with you guys, just do whatever. Um, I've tried this twice now with both videos being 40 minutes long, so I'll try to make this quick. Um, if this video does get a little traction, I'll probably make another one because I love making videos like this, man. I've always wanted to make a video like this. Back to the topic though. Security Beach. FNAF World, man. Man, what a game. Uh, I'm gonna sit here and tell you that you should play the updated version that's on Game Jolt at least once if you've never played it. It's definitely worth playing. Um, I have fun with it, especially that update that came out, especially the Foxy Fighters bit, and then all the little references to pop culture with the games in his past, and then all the little things you can do, Chica's Magic Rainbow. I remember, don't tell Game Theory this, but I remember a clip where somebody was essentially telling them to mute the rainbow, and they got really pissed when they did it, and then they got killed, and they were like, "Oh wow, that's what you guys wanted us to do." I remember being one of those people. I was one of those guys that was like, "Hey, you should mute the character," but I would not stop spamming it because I wanted to see what would happen. And they were like, "Wow, that was so funny, you guys." I was like, "Yes." I was only 15 years old. Give me a break then. Um, I think I was 15 or 16. I don't remember. But yeah, they weren't happy. I was happy though. I got what I wanted. Anyways, so yeah, that was FNAF World. A lot of content, a lot of delivered promises. Um, and then we go back and we go to the sixth game in the series, and my mind draws a blank. I think it was Pizzeria Simulator. Pizzeria Simulator was the sixth game in the series. Um, yeah, what do I say about Pizzeria Simulator that hasn't already been said, man? Dude literally trolled all of us. He said, "Hey, I'm gonna make this game real quick, and it's gonna be funny. It's just gonna be a tycoon." And we all were like, "Okay, that could be cool to play for a little bit until we get the actual game." Little did we know, chat. Little did we know that we would get the actual game by playing that game. I still to this day remember Dawko's reaction when he when he went through the game and it started glitching out. And I remember playing it with my friends, and I like to pretend that I was a streamer back then. I still do. I like to pretend I'm a streamer sometimes. And I was like, I remember making a joke. I was like, "Hey Scott, my game isn't working out. It's kind of glitchy. Can I get you to fix this?" And then it turned to baby being on her seat, and it was the funniest shit ever because my face and the face of my friends were all just like, "Whoa, wait a minute, there's no shot." And then it was. That's what that was. And to this day, man, like I want to say thank you to Scott for being such a good troll because nobody in this community was expecting that game to be that game. You know what I mean? And the fact that it was free too, like, you know, say what you want to say about Scott, about all the controversies the guy's been in, all the controversies about his donations to Republicans and all that crap. I'm not really much of a political man. I stay away from politics. I don't stab a man in the back and have a full smile on my face. You know what I mean? But um, say what you want to say, man. This guy, he's done a lot of good for this community. He's put a lot of smiles on our faces. He's donated a lot of money to charity. I like to believe that a lot of good can come from a man that's evil. At least has good intentions but does bad things. That's what I mean by that. I don't mean that actual evil people can do good things. I just mean like he did things like he did things that are perceived as bad to some people, but he still has a good heart. And I do believe that Scott Cawthon, yeah, he did some bad things like and I'm not gonna get into it again. I want to say like I want to say that I should probably not get into this, but I just want to say that I believe that he donated to those people for completely different reasons besides what was the obvious thing that those political people are obviously you know anti like LGBT and all that crap. They're anti all that bad excuse me, being LGBT is not a bad thing. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I did not mean to say that. I meant like he's um he's being like he donated to those bad people. That's what I'm trying to say. And that can't be taken away ever. Um, but I know that the guy is a good person, and he might have been doing it for completely different reasons than those bad things that those guys were trying to do. You know what I mean? But that's besides the point, that's just my 2 cents on that situation. Again, I've been in this community for a long time. I've seen all this nice stuff Scott's done, and I genuinely hope him and his 6 kids are doing good. I hope he's making games for his kids. I hope they're enjoying them. Because, man, I'll tell you something, man. We struggle with security breach on chat. But back to what I was saying, man. So, sixth game comes out. It's all right. You know, we all like it. It's pretty good. It got us good. It got us real good, and it was really entertaining to play. Um, and then Scott does another nice thing, and he gives us a Ultimate Custom Night, which is technically the seventh game in the series, and we were all like, "Whoa, this is like this is like an entire new game. Like this is crazy, bro. This is nuts." Um, That's actually nuts. He gave us a whole new game to play. Markiplier gave up like the second stream. Was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. This is crazy. You guys have fun. And Daco beat 50-20 mode and got the interview. It was crazy, man. I still remember his reaction to this day to beating that. And like my favorite part about this whole scenario is the fact that Daco made a video about kidnapping all his friends and like threatening to like kill them if if Scott didn't make it like the game mode easier. Of course, it was all jokes, you guys. He wouldn't actually do that. I mean, I get it. He's British, but he wouldn't do something crazy like that. Nah, I'm just kidding. Doggo, no diss, man. I love you. Yeah. So Ultimate Custom Night happens. We all have a good time watching Doggo beat 50-20 mode. We watch DJ Smurf do the same thing. We watch him tell us, "Hey, this is how you do it." I never got the balls to do it though. I stayed far away from that mode as possible. I have the game downloaded. I still haven't played it. Um, what else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, so that brings us to modern day security breach. I did skip a couple details here and there, like the little fan game made, fan, not fan made. Oh my god, the little side games that Scott did while we were waiting for security breach, all the controversies and all that crap while we were waiting for it, the PS5, all that crap, the bugs. I'm not gonna talk about all that, man. I'm just gonna talk about the game and what it feels to me as an OG fan. 27 minutes into this video, we're finally getting into it, chat. Let's get it. Um, this game to me feels wrong, but it feels so right in some good ways, man. I'm telling you, like this game feels so wrong, so fucking wrong in so many different areas, but in so many other areas, man, this thing feels so good, man. Like I'm telling you, man, like I've never had such a fun time playing a game for the first week and then immediately just be miserable the second week after playing it because you just get reminded of all the things that could have been. So let me tell you about Security Breach that you already don't know. Security Breach was a game made by ex-Pixar employees. Now that already is a bad thing. I'm not trying to diss Steelwood Studios, but you guys really fucked up making this game. Yeah, there are parts of it which are really good. I love the daycare center. I love the fact that when it goes dark, you have to turn on the generators, but even that has questionable things. But I mean, this whole series has a lot of questionable things. Like you can't sit there and be like, "Oh, why are there generators in a child's like playground?" and then be like, "Oh, why are and then just ignore the fact that there are literal haunted spirits in these suits. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, my suspension of disbelief for this game was really high because I just wanted to enjoy it as much as I could. I really did try to enjoy it. There were parts that really got me frustrated. Just like the deaths you saw earlier, where I literally spawned into a goddamn robot. Yeah, that was really upsetting. But you deal with what you can. You keep playing. Um, I I really never had a problem with this game in the first week, man. Like and then like I played it, I streamed it to my friends. We were all laughing, we were all having a good time, man. This game is fun as hell when you first played it because we were all anticipating, man. This game got delayed so many times. You would think like, "Oh my God, like when is it gonna come out?" And when it finally came out, man, I'm telling you, like it was like the holy grail. Like finally we made it. And what we got was not what we got promised. If you remember the trailers for the PlayStation events and all that crap, we were promised Vanny, William Afton's assistant, and child murdering. That's what I like to call her. She was supposed to be a more prominent role in this game, and she literally appears 3 times. I shit you not, she appears 3 times in this game. She appears in the beginning where we just saw in the daycare after the daycare center. She appears. Then we see her again at 2 a.m. when Gregory has to get out by grabbing the screwdriver and going out the vent, and then we see her again in literally the end of the game where you can go and fight her. That's it. That is criminal considering all the crap that we were getting, but that we were promised in the PlayStation events. Criminal. And again, this isn't a review of the game. This is a perspective from a guy who's been in this community since the beginning. When you compare this game to the first game, the second game, and the third game, and the fourth game, it it really just it sucks. Like it sucks, you know. Like it shouldn't have been what it was. And I mean, but you gotta deal with what you get, you know. And the hands that we got, unfortunately, it wasn't an ace of spades. It was whatever the hell this was. You know, it was like a dead man's hand. And you know, I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna be like, yeah, this game, you know, it was whatever. No, I'm gonna tell you that this game should have been game of the year. Straight up, I feel like this game should have been game of the year. I really do. It had such a potential to tell such an incredible story with a bunch of characters that we all love, we all know. Some returning characters, some characters from the past, some characters from the present, some characters that aren't even in the game, like aren't even in the series, aren't in the books. Like I'm telling you, this should have been it. This should have been it, and it was not it. It was the opposite of it. It was a was, you know, like um but hey, you know, you do what again, you deal with what you got, and what we got was a what I feel like, and I'm going to be brutally honest here, was a underdeveloped, overcooked, crazily rushed game that really underdelivered in a lot of aspects. Like, look at this, man. The game is loading like crazy. Like, it's just not what we were expecting, you know. I don't know what they were thinking about making this game load all the assets at the same time and then make it to where we can make it where loading screens are a thing now. It's like pick one or the other, and quite frankly, I would have rather had the other. Um, but yeah, that's what they did, and I don't like it one bit. Um, there are things to this game that I really do like. Free roam, for example, the map looks absolutely beautiful. I love the way the map looks. It's a lot of people say that it's not scary. Um, I find that really good, actually. I really love the 80s aesthetic of this game. It gives me Stranger Things vibes. Um, I really don't mind the aesthetics of this game. It's just some of the design details are crazy. Like look at this rocket. If you just pay attention there, you pay for it on the exact opposite side of where you would expect it. Like, it's such a tiny little nitpick, but you understand what I'm trying to get at, you know? This game on the surface looks beautiful, you know. It reminds me of a book, The Gilded Age. I don't remember, well, it probably was I think it was a book I read it in high school. You all know the book, you know, it's about a guy who's rich and he gets killed in a pool, you know. Um, and he talks about how New York is it's like a gilded book or like a gilded age where it looks really pretty on the outside, but once you get in there, man, it is a cesspool of God knows what, and Jesus only has mercy for those inside, you know. Um, I just Man, like, and it's really rude for me to say that about this game because I love this game, man. I do like this game a lot. I love it, but man, I hate it just as much, if not more. It's got cool scenes like this where the little robot comes out of this out of a little vent and he's like chasing you. I think that's cool. Um, and then they do the exact same thing on the bottom level. It's whatever, man. Um, we're wrapping up the video here. I only got about 2 minutes left of gameplay, so I'm gonna just go ahead and say my final thoughts. As a person from the past, seeing these games go the way they have, it's been an interesting ride, and seeing the community unfortunately fall off because the game wasn't as good as it should have been is just another unfortunate side effect of what it was. And I just want to say, man, keep your heads high. You know, we still got Ruin, we still got a lot of cool shit in the future. So let's keep our heads up. Let's keep playing. Let's keep having fun. Let's keep making some theories. Let's keep being part of the community. You know, it's my first time ever making a video like this, and I'm really excited to make it, even if it sounded like it was all over the place. Because man, I've always wanted to make a video like this. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. I really appreciate the fact you watched this video and listened to me talk for about 35 minutes. And I hope the rest of your day is nice. I hope you don't get sick. The whole 9 yards, man. Have a good night. Have a good night, y'all.